by senior defensive lineman Matt Summers, and head coach Paul Haynes will start us off with an opening statement.
Again, tough loss against a tough opponent. Did some good things defensively to keep us in the game. Didn't capitalize on some things offensively. Again, turnovers killed us, a little bit when, had some scoring drives. But, again, love our kids fight. And, again, very tough opponent, very tough place to go and win.
Just an update on quarterback situation. Still planning on sticking with the two quarterbacks this week?
Yeah, that's all we got. We only got two. So and those guys did some good things and a lot of things that they have to improve on. But again, we got what we got. And we trust in those guys. We believe in those guys to get the job done. And again, they know that a lot of when everybody wants to criticize the offense, it always rides on the quarterback. But there's a lot of other pieces that we got to get better at also too.
Offense, you guys got in the end zone again. Well, allegedly, and then they called it back. It seems to keep happening where you guys have these, major plays that can change a game. Then all of a sudden, whether it's a penalty or just not getting actually in the end zone. How is that hurting your team, momentum-wise?
I think it does hurt a little bit, just kind of your psyche a little bit when points come at a minimum. For you, every point matters. And again, also too, just for not going for it, all those types of things. But, I wasn't going to do it again 2 weeks in a row and not putting points on the board, especially when they just had 7, and taking the points. But it does affect you, especially, again, like I said, with the psyche of the guys when they think they scored and they're excited and, and things like that. And then it's kind of taken off the board a little bit. But, again, we just got to keep plugging away and leave no doubt,
Can you talk about the defense? That's an NIU team that went into Nebraska and shocked the Cornhuskers and then came up like that. Did they show anything differently when you saw them on video and then when you played the game, where it was just simple, normal, typical Husky football?
NIU is their MO is like a big, strong, physical football team. I mean, that's every time that I've played them, that's what they've been. Every time I see them on film, that's what they are. They came out, they played physical football. I thought we played physical as well. Other than that, we got to clean a few things up on the defense, technique-wise, eye control, simple things like that, and we'll be all right.
Was it just that it seems like when you mention a big, strong football team, it doesn't matter who the coach is. It just seemed like the last 6-7 years, they've been one of the best teams, not only in the MAC and the Western Division, but it's just that big, strong, that running game, and it just wears you down. Did Santa Catarina throw in any wrinkles when he came into the passing game?
I mean, they're not real flashy. I don't know how to put it. They have their game plan, and it shows week in and week out, and they pretty much just stick to their guns on what they do. Yeah. So, I mean, it's nothing we didn't expect going into it. There's no surprises really to us.
Coach, you turn the page. It's homecoming. It's Miami, and it seems they have their quarterback set up in Gus Ragland. But as you start preparing for Miami, did you see anything from the Notre Dame game or the game against Bowling Green so far that what they like to do and what they like to do either offensively or defensively?
Yeah, I think, again, a very good football team. I mean, you look at them at 2-4, they can very easily be 5-1. Very easily. They lost to Cincinnati in the last minute of the game. Again, lost to Bowling Green in the last minute of the football game. So very easily could Marshall the same way. So very easy could be a 5-1 football team. They play very confident. I mean, went all the way to last year. When they rattled off 6 in a row and had a chance to beat Mississippi State in the bowl game. And it goes into their conference. So they're not going to be rattled with where they are with the record because they did it already, and they came back already. But they cause problems. Both quarterbacks, are really, really good. Ragland and Ball came in after Ragland went out last week, and he's a veteran guy, older guy that went in, and they do what they do. We're going to be challenged like crazy. Their running backs are really, really good, and they got big, tall receivers again. It's almost kind of like, going back to Louisville and Marshall and those guys but these guys throw the ball up, like I've never seen. They're throwing it deep and throwing it deep and throwing it deep, 15, 20 times a game. So their vertical passing game is going to challenge us definitely.
Matt, Coach Haynes has talked about defensive players doing their 111 and has referred to you a lot as a guy that kind of does that. Doesn't always have the stats to show for when you're doing your 111, but is that something you focus on every play? Is that something you feel like kind of starts with the D-line and goes backwards?
Yeah. It starts with Coach Haynes also talks about, like, it is a team game, but it starts with the individual. So, like, going back to, like, that's like a big part of our defense. If you don't do your 111th, if you don't do this, you're out of your gap of play, bad eyes, that can really help an offense in ways I don't want, break big plays. So, every play in practice, every play in the game always starts with doing your job and making the plays that you're supposed to make, making the plays you're supposed to make within the defensive scheme.
When you mentioned you had to clean up your technique, was it just trying to, when you engage the offensive lineman, he's going the way he's running, or not running, but blocking, and you're trying to fight that guy off and get to either the passer or the ball carrier in that situations?
Every game there's good and bad, but I don't know, technique is something we always harp on, and it's not good enough unless it's absolutely perfect. So we work on that every week. But across the board, eye control, pad level, all like the simple things that you learn from youth football, we just got to keep working on that stuff.
I've always wanted to ask either an offensive or defensive lineman this: do you cringe, or are you happy? Are you sad when the grades come in?
The grades?
Oh, I thought that I always remembered that coaches would grade the lines or playing.
Grade winning and losing.
Yeah,
that's it.
Then that's
So either you won or you lost. That's it.
the best grade of all. So I will take that back.
A or an F.
I'll take that back.
Matt, your senior year, homecoming, are you expecting a lot of family and friends? And, what is this going to mean for really you and the rest of your senior class on Saturday?
Every game is a big game for us in our senior class. For the whole team, really. We want to get every win we can. Other than that, I hope a lot of people come out and support this week. It's a big game for us. Fans, obviously, they impact the game hugely. So, yeah.
He's humble. He's Mr. Kent. He'll have a lot of people here, and so be it. He is, probably we sit there and we talk about, a Kent State guy. He is definitely what we look for in Kent State football players. He's loyal. He's fundamentally sound. He's a team guy. He's a great teammate. That's really so, and I know a lot of people, around this town who sit there and they asked about him. They talk about him a bunch. And they should be, and I know that they are very proud of Matt for the job that he's done on and off the field, not just on the field, but off the field also too.
For Matt and the other seniors, being their homecoming, is this kind of a big week, a big moment for them to really kind of convey to the team what this is about?
Yeah, it is. And again, every game is it is just another game, but again, homecoming is a little bit different just for the community and also the campus. We have the captain's breakfast this week, this Friday, that we bring back all the former captains, also too, so they can take part and keep the tradition alive and take part in stuff that we do this week. There's a lot of things that are going on this week that, it's kind of for us, same as. We go out and we practice and we do those things. There's pet rallies and there's all these things going on that we don't, necessarily get involved in. But our guys understand, and that's why we bring the captains back to, share the stories what homecoming meant to them. And like I said, just keep the tradition alive, about Kent State football and the pride and the passion that we have about Kent State football.
Anything else?
Good.
All right, thank you. Go Flashes.
Go Gus. Coach, for you.